today is that young person from Kaolack. He's a global citizen who is traveling the world to help create bridges that didn't exist for me, that I couldn't walk. Bridges such as mentorship to young people who might need that mentorship that I needed then, but that I didn't have. That young person, which is in front of you today, is traveling the world to create young entrepreneurs, to understand and be a part of that, the economics in their countries and the change to help create jobs. And that young person today is helping everything he can do to make sure that where he comes from, Senegal and Africa, is put in the map so the young people of Africa and the world can be the change that we want to see across the world today. And to give you a brief introduction, this is, I think, who Thione is. Quand je suis arrivé aux États-Unis, j'ai fait comme beaucoup d'immigrés. D'abord, je suis arrivé là-bas, je connaissais pas de monde là-bas, j'avais pas de famille, et il fallait coûte que coûte trouver de l'argent. Comme vous le savez, beaucoup de nos parents qui sont là aujourd'hui, pas seulement au Sénégal, mais partout, quand vous quittez, dès que le téléphone sonne, quand la famille appelle 3 heures du matin, tu dis appelle-moi tout de suite, j'ai pas crédit. Ils veulent d'abord de l'argent. Donc dès que vous quittez, le lendemain, maintenant tout le monde a des responsabilités. Et j'avais fait un promise. Certains qui ont lu le livre, vous allez lire sur le premier chapitre, I was talking about a promise I did for my mother, ma mère, à l'âge de 12 ans. Un jour, Inch'Allah, je vais travailler. You will never go through problems again in life. I will help change your life. At 12 years old, I already had a promise that I had to fulfill for life. It was to make my mom smile, this beautiful woman that I have in the house, that I can see have to share her husband with 2 or 3 other wives in the house. And with the pain that's going through that, with the fights, with everything that's going through it, I wanted to make sure I make her happy. So when I arrived to the US, the first thing I did is cleaning tables in the Bronx, in New York. But then, a few months later, I had to go to school because my visa was a student visa that was given to me by the US Embassy in Senegal. I had, by obligation, to go to school. So I ended up in Cleveland, Ohio, another city I knew nobody, and I studied public administration. After my schooling in public administration, I had some questions I had to answer because in America at that time, I know you remember a president named George Bush. That time we had a hard time with our economy. I used to send money home in Senegal. At the end of the month, with my parents, when I sent them money for 100,000 CFA, it used to just be $200 at that time. By 2004, I had to double the money I had to send. Do you remember the economy when it collapsed? So that made me ask the question, what can I do? What role should I play in my local community right here in Cleveland, Ohio? This is how I get involved in local politics. So I started to knock on doors for a council member, then the local mayor. Then I became expert in campaign management. Then I ran a campaign for state senator named Shirley Smith of Ohio, who introduced me to Senator Obama in 2006, an introduction in a meeting that changed my life. Then a year later, I became the first African-American president of the Young Democrats of Ohio, Cuyahoga County. I met President Obama a few months before, and I believe that this guy somehow might be the next president. And I remember many of my friends would tell me it's impossible. This guy, a name Barack Hussein Obama, he can never be president. They'll tell me, dude, you're from Africa, that's why you don't understand yet. Because today, today, a lot of people, when you say Obama, it sounds sexy, right? Because he's the president of the United States. But believe me, for us, it was very difficult. Because even African Americans in the United States, in the beginning, did not believe that Obama can be president one day. They didn't. Until we won Iowa, the 3rd of January 2008. Do you remember that day when he was talking about yes, we can? He was responding to that speech to all the no-sayers who told us that we couldn't do it, that yes, we can. So this happened after the presidency. You know the story. We won the presidency. Then I went on to create Give One Project. Well, I'm a mix of both. Because Africa gave me birth. Africa is my mother. Senegal is my heart. Because if it wasn't for Senegal, I wouldn't be here today, right? My culture, my religion, my background, my principles and morals, those are fundamental, those are keys. It was given to me by my mother in my milk, in the milk that I got from my mom. And asking me if I choose the US or over Senegal, it's like you're asking me between my mother and my father, who I love the most. I love them both. America allowed me to grow because I dreamed to something big, something crazy, something impossible to many, and America allowed me to touch it. I don't know if I would be what I am today if I was still in Senegal. I don't know. I ask that question to myself every day.
Vous ne sentez pas la fracture entre vous et le peuple sénégalais? Est-ce que vous ne ressentez pas le besoin de montrer que vous êtes sénégalais et de
No,
faire accepter?
I don't have to. No. I just have to open my mouth. People know I'm from Senegal. Right? I don't even have to open my mouth. I just have to walk in here. You know, Senegal, we got a little swag on us. Nothing against the Nigerians, but, you know. But, honestly, though, I don't have to open my mouth. I don't have to prove people I'm Senegalese. You know what it's saying que Cette before, le tigre n'a pas besoin de réclamer sa tigritude. If you have to, si tu dois réclamer ça, ça veut dire que tu n'es pas. I am Senegalese. I have to prove nobody if I'm Senegalese. I speak more Wolof than anybody. Right? I'm not cutting water. I'm from young from Kaula. You know? I grew up in Senegal. I went to the US at the age of 21. I can lose my French, but I cannot lose my Wolof. The reason why I think I'm doing what I'm doing today in the world, and I can do it with the chest out, with no complex, is because the way I accept my Senegaleseness. And it's very important to know to never forget where you come from. So we had, if you go back in the history of our continent, if you go back to our development process, where everything started, and our founding fathers, whom I respect a lot because of what they've done for us, but many of them were more French than African. Some of it not their fault, because they were emancipated and educated here. But this new African generation, oh no, we're proud to be African. We're proud to be global. En tout cas, j'ai bien fait de partir. Et heureusement, j'ai eu la chance de partir. Parce que j'étais parti pour revenir. J'ai déjà commencé ce retour dans mon pays natal. When Khan came to see me in Washington, I had a lot of young people, and so many young people were so inspired. Je dis à Akon, you know, toi, tu as 52 millions de personnes, people qui te suivent sur Facebook. Je ne veux pas que demain, les gens te suivent, vont se rappeler de toi juste parce que Akon le chante. Il faut faire plus pour changer la vie des gens. Ils me demandent qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire ensemble. Et je lui dis, et je pensais à mon enfance, parce que j'ai goûté le goût de la lumière à Dakar. Et je dis aujourd'hui, je vais donner cette chance aux jeunes Africains. Parce que je sais c'est comment grandir sans lumière. La nuit, pour prendre mon grand-père, parce qu'il était handicapé, de l'amener dans sa chambre, parfois il n'y a pas de bougie, c'est difficile, tu ne vois rien du tout, tu vois. Et je dis que je vais donner cette opportunité à des jeunes. Moi, je ne connais pas l'énergie. Et quand je ne connais pas l'énergie, je pouvais faire business d'autres choses. Et je dis que I want to make sure, even if it's like 5 people, that I can help them to change their lives. Alhamdulillah, 2 ans après, on est dans 15 pays. On touche des millions de people qui sont comme mes parents, mes grands-parents dans les villages où quand on vient, les gens s'y pleurent parce qu'ils n'ont jamais imaginé une lumière aujourd'hui dans un monde. Never wait for tomorrow what you can do today. And the Quran said that, I didn't say it. It says in the Quran that make your day today as it's the last one. And then pray as it's the last day. And work as it's your last day.
Thione s'est ouvert à nous, à cœur ouvert, il nous a parlé de ses souvenirs, de son parcours, de ses ambitions et de ses projets. Donc c'est très enrichissant au niveau personnel et ça fait plaisir de voir des Africains motivés et ambitieux.
Et on dirait que ça a été un très grand rendez-vous ce soir de rencontrer Thione Niang, ce jeune homme qui a accompli déjà tellement de choses à son jeune âge. Et ce soir, on va dire que ça a été vraiment une très très grande inspiration. On ressort de là vraiment inspiré et déjà.
Moi, je suis vraiment contente d'être venue parce que je viens de Reims, donc j'ai fait quand même 2 heures de trajet en voiture pour venir, mais c'est très intéressant parce que son livre m'a beaucoup inspiré et ça permet aux gens de pouvoir l'approcher et de découvrir vraiment son expérience. Et il m'a beaucoup touchée parce qu'il a pleuré et on sent que ce livre sort des tripes en quelque sorte et c'est ça qui m'a le plus marqué.
C'est ce genre de personnes de qui on a besoin tous les jours, qui inspire et vraiment à mon humble avis tous les Africains de
Il nous inspire beaucoup, son parcours est impressionnant et comme il le dit, il le fait pour pouvoir inspirer la jeunesse et pour pouvoir inspirer les gens en général. Et je pense que comme il le dit aussi, c'est quelque chose dont les jeunes ont besoin, c'est quelque chose dont les gens issus de la diaspora ont besoin parce qu'aujourd'hui, comme il le dit, l'Afrique a besoin de sa jeunesse et c'est la jeunesse de l'Afrique qui peut.
J'y ai puisé beaucoup d'émotions déjà, beaucoup de force, beaucoup d'envie et surtout beaucoup d'âme. Mais c'était intéressant de le suivre tout en essayant derrière de noter quand même des points pour des personnes qui ne le connaissent pas pour qu'il essaie d'expliquer son parcours de manière plus concrète. Et ça, il a très bien su le faire.